I've been working on Killzone for about 8 years now. It's been a long time. I was part of the original development team that was working on the game before it was even known as Killzone. And it was at this point that we decided to record a piece of music as a test to kind of capture the feeling of the game. And we did this in Moscow, and this is where the Helga's March was born. So inspired Sony that they decided to greenlight an orchestral score for the whole game once it was reaching completion. After Killzone 1, I was asked to return on Killzone Liberation for the PlayStation Portable. And the music for that ended up being done with MIDI because it was much more dynamic and much more percussive. And it was something that the PSP lent itself well for. I thought it would be a good idea to combine the styles for Killzone 2. Percussive and dynamic music used in Killzone Liberation lent itself well to the in-game music.
Yeah, for now, it's a fucking A-Tech! We're like sitting dumpster!
Whereas the dramatic and epic live orchestral music used in Killzone 1 would work really well for the cutscenes in Killzone 2.
Because we were taking a different approach with the music, making it adaptive/interactive, Joey was experimenting in a way of composing more dynamics within the loops and still keep a cinematic feel to it without it sounding too electronic. He created the main theme of Killzone and made it sound so catchy and had that hook, and it's so emotional that you immediately recognize and you say, okay, that's the Killzone universe. That's the birth of war.
To be a day of mourning for the ISA.
The enemy convoy has been decimated.
Killzone is one of our big AAA titles. Just having the chance to do orchestral recording was it was a no-brainer really. We needed to do it. Abbey Road was a perfect choice for a big orchestra and a big sound that we wanted for this epic game.
Madness.
Late last year I was asked if I wanted to record the score for Killzone 2 at Abbey Road. Let me introduce you to the team that helped make it all happen. First off, we've got Mark Cannon. He produced the session. His main role was focused to make sure we got everything recorded on time and that all the takes were recorded the way they needed to be. Here's Jonathan Williams. Johnny was my score copyist. He not only prepared the orchestra's paper scores in no time at all, but is also my conductor on the sessions. This is Rich Aitken, our balance engineer. He was there making sure that the music sounded just right, so his mixes of the sessions would translate to the amazing sound that we heard at the recordings. From the Abbey Road crew, there's Andrew Dubman. He's a senior recording engineer and essentially the studio is his. He makes certain that the microphones that capture that legendary Abbey Road sound are set up just to his liking. And Tom and Rob too, who were fabulous in assisting myself and Johnny. When I compose, I don't tend to compose in the traditional sense because I don't use pen and paper, but use things like MIDI and samples and sequences. Once the cutscenes have been scripted by the team in Guerrilla, they're storyboarded. This is kind of where I get involved. I get original storyboards, and that's the point where I start sketching some stuff out. Just on the piano, but just to kind of get an idea of some melodies and some themes. For composing and editing, I use an audio and MIDI package called Nuendo. Right now you're listening to the initial piano sketch for the intro, Birth of War, Retribution. Once the storyboards have been approved, they're turned into an animatic, and that's where it gets its timing and its pacing. And that's when I start turning the piano sketch into more of a MIDI mock-up and start including some other instruments. My MIDI session has all the instruments from the orchestra and their samples, so I can get a rough idea of what it will sound like and work out the orchestration. With around 180 MIDI tracks in there, the layout is similar to an orchestral paper score. All of these tracks together sound close to how a live orchestra would play it. And this is the finished mock-up. Once the MIDI mock-up is completed, we need a paper score for the musicians to play from. So I use a package called Sibelius to notate the score and print it out. The master score, or conductor score, contains all the instruments, so both the conductor and myself can see what each musician is playing at any time. The musicians don't see this score, they see the parts they need to play. This is why we need a conductor. He ties it all together, ensuring that everyone is playing the right thing at the right time and in the right place.